notifications about sharing this stuff.
So I clicked
We
the
got the
go
countdown going.
the go live, and I'm fixing to mute myself.
Good deal.
Okay.
Pretty sure this is the
Yep,
fifth
yep.
time I've seen it.
Yeah, how's the?
Stainless
Looks
diesel.
like I've been following your new car there, John. Looks like you got a new hot rod going.
Yeah, it's coming. It's just so time consuming, and the money
Oh, yes,
is
sir.
it always takes bless you. It always takes so
Thank you.
much more money than what you anticipate, and so the funds got kind of dried up, and so I was like, okay, so we got a couple choices. We can start ripping apart this car that I've got that is a piece of crap, but it works pretty good. Or
Yep.
just put the piece of crap back together and just try to win some cash and get the other one done by May or June. So that's my new goal.
Nice. Nice.
It's fun
Very
stuff
nice.
though, man.
Very nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah, heck yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's all fun, dude.
Yep, I've been watching you for definitely watching you for over a year now, and you
Oh,
got some
sweet.
good content, man. Putting it out there, that's great. We're all
Thanks.
fellow racers, I love it.
Yeah, it's fun, and that's what I always tell people. I know there's a lot of people that are super secretive, but I like to share some information. Sometimes I get they say those loose lips sink those ships, and I get outrun by some secrets that I have shared, and so
Yep.
sometimes it bites me. But I don't want to race no ducks. I want to race somebody that's got that stuff mostly together.
Yep, you want some side by side action. That's good.
I wish the Skinnies camp would have that same sentiment.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Yep. So yeah, I come from the gas world and got into the diesel world, and then we're basically racing 4x4 farm trucks, with some big diesel motors and turbos and nitrous and getting it on.
Yeah, this weekend has stirred up the no prep world with the 4x4.
I don't think no prep and I don't know if they knew about diesel trucks when they made all those plans to go race in 28s,
Right. Are y'all friends with Clifton Claude on
I think they've
Facebook?
got some rules, but I think they're quickly coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm friends with him
he's
on
actually a local buddy of mine.
Gotcha. He made a post a few minutes ago about 4x4s, and it was over like 150 comments earlier when I looked at it in like 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
God.
pull it up. What are we at? Them boys are hot.
Yeah, I seen a lot of
1
people.
hour ago, 242 comments.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to read through all of them.
right. I think I've heard it.
Believe it or not, like a lot.
I was just going to say I've heard it put a couple different ways.
Like 4 keeping them in the same class.
Yep.
I hope so. I mean, I think they should. We talked about this earlier. I think they should rename Big Tire to like a open class or a run what you brung, rather than label it as a Big Tire, and that would kind of take down some of the, I think, people saying, well, it shouldn't be in Big Tire. Well, it's labeled Big Tire, but what they're getting at is anything with a door should be able to go in that class. And I think the Big Tire guys can do it.
They literally say any power out or wheelie bars, Big Tire.
Yeah.
Yep. Chassis
like
car.
An unlimited, you know.
There's nothing that says otherwise.
Yeah. Very interesting.
But yeah.
All right.
That's what.
So I know it looks like we got some guys popping
Nate
up.
Was actually talking about is that Mike said Big Tire guys and their feelings. Yes, them boys are writing in their diaries. They are very upset.
Yep. Right on. So everybody's joining us here on the interwebs. Yep. We are talking about the racing world being set on fire last weekend by none other than Mr. Ethan here at Wilson Patterson Diesel, and the Thaw out here in Darlington, so South Carolina, and the Big Tire boys didn't have anything for the 4x4 diesel this weekend. John, what was your take on it, man? Like your experience around that?
So I'm in small tire, so I don't have to worry about the 4-wheel drives right now. They kicked our teeth in a few years ago, and it's just interesting. I mean, watching some of the big tire cars, run. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it seems like to me, especially like on the surface at like Darlington or Rockingham, where it's really rough. It's really, they got that coarse aggregate. It sounds like the big tire cars, to me, just have not tested enough on that type of surface. I mean, because you can run a big tire and they can make some power, but I mean, it just seems like I don't know. It's just from the word go. I mean, maybe it's just because Ethan was so far out there, out on them early that they hogged all the kits on it at one time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely interesting conversation though.
Yep. Well, I see some of everybody sees the the street outlaw guys on TV. Popping wheelies on a no prep track, and is that for what you guys are doing or seeing, because you got digger die coming up, and like are some of those guys on some of the better no prep tracks, are they doing that, the big tire guys knocking the front wheels up on in the air?
And from what I'm seeing, like the great example, so at Darlington, that nice rough rocky surface, I couldn't run very fast. I got faster through the day. I missed my tune-up to start with the first one, and, being on small tires and a 10-inch non-W. And we went through there, and it was very slow the first pass, and then it progressively got faster. And made it down to 4 cars, had a blast. Went to 710 the next day, and the surface was is just smooth asphalt. And so it was holding some rubber. And I was able to go almost 7/10 faster. And I mean, it depends on the surface. It completely depends on the surface. I mean, I think the 4-wheel drives probably do have a huge advantage on some of the people that are not getting after it on that coarse surface, and they don't have their stuff together. They hadn't tested on it enough. But when you get them on a smoother surface, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen the 4-wheel drive stuff go out there on a smooth surface. And I mean, y'all would have to share, how much y'all could pick up, I guess. That's a bad video right there too.
Yep. So this is probably one of the first or second rounds, I think, wasn't it, Ethan?
Yes, the first whack. When I only
so we got a little
that's
tire spin there.
Nope. That was the second pass. I had all 3 gears that time. Yep. Definitely had some tire speed. I mean, I had to drive it. It wasn't just a walk in the park, I mean, I had to keep it in the groove. It wanted to float back and forth the whole way down. You can see it right there on the line. I had to drive it back into the groove a little bit. Every time it shifts, it just kind of wanted to give it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You really only had a groove for like 60 to 70 foot. After that, the groove becomes basically from the yellow, I guess, center line to the wall, because everyone had been anywhere in between.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So it looks like, Ethan, both you and Turbo John raced against a competitor this past weekend that got a little wild and hit the wall. I think what was your first race, Ethan? And I think, John, that was probably like your third pass, I think, when that happened.
Yeah, I think it was my second. I think it was my second round.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, both the drivers were okay as far as I seen, but I mean, that's no prep thing, right? You gotta be careful.
Yeah, definitely can get away from you in a hurry. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. I started. I've only been doing no prep for a while, probably a year now, a little bit over a year and a half. And I started off as, I was a radial racer. We all started off on slicks back in the day, of course, and then radials become big, and everybody moved over to radials. And so I got the radial kick, and, as easy as they drive, they're nice and straight. You feel it wiggle, you're done. You just let off, you're okay. And, I got to where I quickly couldn't compete in the radial world because, the budget. I mean, you were racing such high caliber cars. And so that's what kind of struck me with the no prep. Started watching Billy the Kid, the street race channel. And I was like, man, they're crazy. I mean, they're sending these things down on these little slicks. And, I put it on there and the bug is there. I mean, you just have to drive it down through there. but it's just your reaction and how the car is handling, not making big moves in the car from what I have seen. But, at any time, these things can get away from you. And the guy that wrecked beside me, Jake Boswell, he used to have the Nerd. And we're pretty good friends. I love racing with those guys. And, brand new car, got out there, and we were, having a good drag race. And I posted my video today, and I started looking at it. And it looks like he may have, popped a head gasket or something got up under the car. But so it may have just been that, or it could have been just that he had a little bit of extra wheel speed. And, I get a lot of flack on my car because, I refuse to let my buddy Brian that I work on my car at the shop. He is a body shop. I mean, he's like, that's his profession. And my car crap. And he's like, dude, I got to paint your car. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, I'm going to crash it. And hopefully I'm going to come out of it okay, and it's going to be a little bump, but it should total it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like if you leave it all rough around the edges, you're gonna be fine. As soon as you shine it all up and paint it up, look out.
Absolutely. I truly believe that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna scrub some speed off of it. Yep.
Heck yeah. So
That's
there
right.
was as far as like the big tire race guys, I mean, there was 32 cars in the field. So you had to go 5 rounds or so?
Well, they had 32 locked in,
There
and
was
then only 22 showed up. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So we did have to go 5 rounds to win, because the semifinals they had a buy car in there, and unfortunately we drew the non-buy chip. So, yep.
But you still came out with the W. So
yeah, it works.
Took home the green stuff.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. That's always a good time. But it looks like the energy down there was great. Everybody was all fired up,
awesome.
Good turnout.
Awesome. Starting line was packed full of people. I don't know, John, what do you think? There's probably 60 people, 70 people at the line, just all the way down the side of the track. I mean, the stands. I mean, it was an awesome turnout. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, man. There was a ton of people there. The action, the street stuff, it's real similar to the street, but a better environment as far as you got the guard rails, and they let the spectators get kind of close. It kind of depends on where you're at. I mean, coming through the starting line is always it's like the gladiator feeling. It's like you're back there a couple cars deep, and the closer you get. And then all of a sudden you get there and it's your turn and they just kind of split and you come through. They're a foot away from you. It's an unreal feeling. It really is. It's kind of like the old throwback racing that we used to do back in the day. It really is crazy.
Yep. The like some of the big tire guys, I think there's somebody, I don't know if I heard it on video or seen it posted somewhere, but Ethan, you raced a guy named Billy. One of the guys, I think, and somebody said that he got gapped by a semi truck. One of the big tire guys.
I don't remember who. I don't know who Bill. I don't know a lot of those guys. I don't know them by name, but we definitely raced some heavy hitters that I know for a fact would have been a different story on a stickier surface. There is no doubt in my mind.
Yep.
Those guys are fast.
A lot of people, when they see drag racing, you're at the tree, right? You're at the front of the track, where this particular race was raced backwards. So you're at the far end of the track, going back towards the starting line.
Yeah. Yep. Basically, your shutdown is the tree, and that thing comes up real quick.
A lot of a majority of some of the no prep stuff run backwards, or there's some that still run, on a scraped track with no prep, conventional.
I think like this backwards track race is kind of getting pretty popular because it's such a challenge, and it's probably as close to street racing as you can get without, having cops coming to you. It seems like, there's probably 5 or 6 really, really strong events that are doing this backwards track no prep stuff, and then there's quite a few of the like airport style races I've been seeing, like the Equalizer out in Kansas, and there's one in northern Indiana now They're doing a circuit, actually, streetcar brawl
Just
here locally at US
Hoosier No
41's
Prep.
been doing. Hoosier No Prep is doing some
Yep.
of the
Yep.
they're
I think
doing
they call
some
that
of the
I was gonna say, just like they call it's like a run what you brung deal on a big tire, but it's like they call it the king of the corn, something like that. At the Hoosier No Prep there at 41.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Hoosier No Prep series is
Good deal.
called the King of the Corn.
do that down
Sometimes
at,
they're on like a virgin surface. Yeah, like we did the one last August with them in at Wagler's Motorsports
Yep.
or Motor Park.
Yep.
And
Good deal. Good deal.
it was just a scrape track, which was, I mean, it was slick, but it definitely wasn't no virgin Darlington slick. That's for sure. That track we were on last weekend was slick.
That's what South Carolina's kind of notorious for, just that super rough texture that they've got, and just a lot of that exposed aggregate, like Turbo John said. That stuff, it's coarse. I mean, it's like if sand grit came in 5, that's about what it is.
Heck yeah. And Luke, you were there pretty much helping out Ethan, being the pro diesel crew chief there on the team the weekend.
Yep, him.
Yeah,
him, my dad, and Lauren. Lauren was supposed to be in here.
Rag hand. Yeah, Lauren and Jay did a lot more than I did. I just handed rags and found dimes for them to get the Zeus fasteners open with.
You're killing me.
Yep.
You did way more
Turbo
than that
John
for
knows
us,
it
man.
too, man. Got to have a good crew to get you to that winner circle, man. That's for sure.
It's
no doubt, no doubt.
Crew based.
Yeah.
So what's
Probably
the next race?
My favorite part of the whole weekend was preventing Ethan from pulling the pan.
Nice. You want to work on it. How about that?
Yeah, I looked at that TCM tune and seen an air code in it, and I'm like, oh, I hope that's the problem there. So we put it up on jack stands real quick, and I lowered the shift points way down and just kind of ran it through the gears, and finally found third gear after we made some tuning changes, and I was like, okay, we're good.
Fresh off of.
Good deal.
So
good deal.
Tell the real story. So fresh off the first pass, he pulls it back to the pits. He says, "Dude, this thing doesn't have third gear." I said, "What?" He said, "I don't know. I just hit the hard limiter." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, hold on." I said, let's talk about how does this thing work?" He said, "This talks to this and this talks to this." I said, "Okay." I said, so I said, "Can we check pressures to make sure?" He said, "Pressures are good." So we just kind of ran through that. He said, "We got to pull the valve body." He said, "It's got a stuck valve or a bad solenoid in it." I said, "Ethan," I said, "you just made a pass." I said, "I really don't want to take a bath in hot ATF fluid. Who knows how hot this thing just got." I said, "Let's get it up on jack stands, run it through the gears first." I said, "I promise you," I said, "let's not resort to getting bathed in 200-degree or 150-degree transmission fluid off the rip."
Nice.
Luckily.
That's
a good call. Yep, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yep. So as far as for a lot of people that are on here and are in the diesel world, they might not know Turbo John, and Turbo John YouTube channel. You want to tell us a little bit about a little bit more for the people that might not know you, John, kind of what you do and what you've been doing.
Yeah, I've been drag racing my whole life. I mean, since I was 16 years old, and I got my first Trans Am, and I got outrun by my buddy with a Mustang. So I quickly got a Mustang.
Nice.
But anyway, that was about 30 years. And so we started drag racing. We always been on a budget. And I always like to do the best I can with the least amount of money, and that requires breaking a lot of stuff, getting a lot of used parts, and being at the right place at the right time. And so a few years ago, my wife was like, "You just got to start a YouTube channel. I mean, you're racing all the time. Just start, trying to help people." I get phone calls all the time, my buddies, and, just try to help people the best I can with any do's and don'ts that I may have found. So I started a YouTube channel. It's kind of taken off. It's got a few subscribers to it, so we have a good time. It takes a little bit of extra time to, to edit the videos. But, man, it's really fun. It's really fun getting to show people that it's not just about just showing up at the track and going fast. And, there's a lot of effort that everybody puts into these cars. And so it's fun. And, so we started a YouTube channel, Turbo John. Just Google it. There's one that is like a little snail, like a cartoon character. That's not me. I'm the one with the Mustang in the profile picture. So there's 2 Turbo Johns on YouTube. But it's fun. I just chronicle what I did. Got a good help from a local YouTuber, John Dock. He kind of gave me some good pointers, along the way. So I enjoy seeing him, and I had a really good time this weekend down at Darlington. I just posted my first video. It's going to probably be 2 or 3 videos. I think I can get it in 2. And I don't show all my the whole racing stuff. It's mainly what I do. I don't get you got Spooled Media, Corey, and there's a lot of good companies out there and YouTubers that are there, and they just show the racing content only, just the pass after pass after pass through the rounds. But I like to try to show, okay, well, that didn't quite go so well, so this is what I'm gonna do to try to make it go better. That would have been a great YouTube content. You pulling the pan off the transmission and getting dunked with fluid. So if you do that, no, we'll swing down there. But yeah, it's a good time, man. We have a blast doing it. It's always a good time.
Good deal. Good deal.
Us diesel guys are used to breaking like everything, so we take spare everything you can think of. It ain't easy to contain all that torque because it'll tear stuff up you've never seen done before. I promise you.
Yep. And so for some people that might not know, Ethan, Wilson Patterson Diesel builds our Pro Street truck transmission. So we race a diesel 4x4, similar to Ethan's as well. And, in 2,500 plus horsepower, in that 4,500 pound range. And, we have a lot of good times, but Ethan's our transmission guy. So we work with a lot of solid guys. We got some Cohen parts and some Suncoast transmission parts, and Ethan, with us breaking a lot of parts over the last 3-4 years, he learned how to keep those things together on his own rig. So he got it all figured out.
Johnny's definitely been a good test dummy, that's for sure. I've seen stuff break that I said, how in the heck did you even manage that, dude? Oh, man.
Yep. Crazy stuff, man. Yep. But I definitely, want to make sure, that everybody knows who, the difference between that big tire and the 4-wheel drive debate. I think it's going to continue to go on. And then the next race you guys are going to be at, what are you going there, Ethan?
We're going to Rockingham, North Carolina, to a what's it called, John? Like a flashlight Fiesta Dig or Die, I think is what it is. Yep,
it's Dig or Die. It's the same group that's doing the race. I think they got 3 this year. This one's going to be a pretty reasonable payout. Small tire, big tire. I mean, I think the big debate now is they're scared the 4-wheel drive stuff is going to run all the big tires off, and the you're only going to have the 4-wheel drive guys left. But I hope that's not the case. I mean, they just need to work. I mean, I hate to say they need to work on the program because I constantly have to work on my program too. But you guys are fast, but it's not because you went out there and you bought a truck and you just throwed it in 4-wheel drive and went racing. I mean, it's because you've been testing. It's because you've been making passes. But yeah, Rockingham's going to be busy. It's going to be off the hook. I mean, there'll be a lot of people there, a lot of cars, and a lot of money up for grabs.
Yeah, what is that? Like small tire payouts, like $100,000, isn't it?
I think it's going to be 30 this time, and then the $100,000 one is going to be July. It's going to be $500 entry fee. I think 200 and some cars, $100,000.
Yeah.
That's some serious business in the no prep world.
John, I know you said you went 7/10 faster on that smooth surface. Do you share? Are you a no time guy, or would you mind just like kind of ballparking what you went at Darlington?
So I love sharing times. If you go to my channel, when I'm testing, I usually show time slips. When we get into races, we race with a lot of people that are not as they don't give up their information quite as easy. And so, out of respect, when we're doing the no
Yeah.
prep racing, I usually don't share, but people got a good idea. I mean, everybody's got a phone and everybody can take their finger and start and stop that stopwatch. But yeah,
Yeah.
so to be competitive in small
Yeah.
tire down at Rockingham or in Darlington, you need to be well. Actually, believe it or not, Rockingham and Darlington are two different surfaces. I was about a half a second slower at Darlington than I was at Rockingham. And so in the Rockingham area, if you can go in Rockingham, if you can go somewhere between 620s and 680s, you've got a car that you can usually go rounds in. I mean, because most people hit the tires and they just knock them off. Darlington is a little bit slower than that. Now, when you get on the back of the track, the back of the tracks, it depends on the surface. You can go somewhere in the low sixes, stepping into the high fives. Now, when you get on a track that is the front of the track that's being scraped, it retains rubber very fast. And so once it starts retaining rubber, then on small tires, I mean, you've got a 5.0, 5.20, 5.30 pass. At least that's been my experience.
Nice. Very nice. Very
Ethan,
nice.
are you sharing times on that
Yeah.
wheel drive truck?
Yeah, and that's what
Well, he was calling me
I
out
don't-
this weekend. We were on the phone back and forth a good bit. I was at the Ducks race, helping out with some of our other diesel guys, racing some, we got some diesel guys that race at radial, lights out stuff. We're down there kind of helping out this weekend, and it's on the phone with Ethan, and we do the turbocharger for Ethan, and our exhaust manifold, stainless diesel manifold, and our 5-blade Mafia turbocharger stuff we do. So Ethan basically, back and forth a little bit with some data back and forth, and pointing them in the right direction, bouncing ideas off each other all weekend. So like you said, it's like that. You got to tune for the surface, and Ethan definitely did his homework.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared when I seen that surface though. I mean, there wasn't those pebbles, man. They stick up a half inch. It looked like off the actual surface.
Right.
Then they have craters and cracks half your shoe width with weeds growing up through them, and I was like, man, this is gonna be tough. And it did come around. It did come around.
That's
that
wild.
front half of the track came around. It was crazy. I didn't think it was ever going to, but it did have a little stick to it.
Yeah. But I mean, basically that truck, you run it in like a ODSS circuit, or diesel outlaw super series that we run.
Yep.
And it has ran a little bit, but it's mainly was built for that series, but that truck never really raced the class it was going to be in, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah. It went out to Massachusetts and was still under kind of like doing shakedown runs for a while, and never did really get turned up and really put to its potential. And the original owner got out of it, and we ended up with it. And I've been on a prep surface one time just to see if we got the death wobble figured out. 120 mile an hour death wobble is no fun. Yeah, I thought I was dying
that's
on that.
That's
round,
a bad feeling. I've been there.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
God
but as
for
far as like the
racket kicking
ODSS
steering.
class, so that would be like a 590 class truck, kind of, sort of.
It could definitely be a 590 class truck.
Yep.
Back when we built it, it was originally built for the Pro Street class, but you've set the bar pretty high in that class, Johnny. So we're kind of staying away from that one.
Yeah, like our 40 used to be 4,500 pound minimum. Now it's 4,400 pound minimum in our class. It's basically anything diesel, but you have to weigh that. And 9 times out of 10 in that class, everybody's 4-wheel drive, but not everybody. But we've been last year we set the record, won the championship and all that good stuff in ODSS at 482, 157 mile an hour, 156 range. So with the old tractor motor.
Yep.
It would be
bucks, man.
gotta love it.
To see
With big tires.
yeah, that thing's Ethan, what does your truck weigh, or can you share?
Yeah, I'm right there. We built it for the same class he has. When I sit in my seat, I'm at 4,411 pounds. So with
Wow.
me geared up, sitting in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm about to get flamed in
Yeah.
the comments 'cause I've been saying it's a little bit heavier than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think once upon a time we weighed that truck a few years
That
back,
thing,
and it was
that
in that
thing hasn't weighed under
4,500 pound
4,700 all day.
range.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like messing with people. You know, I've told them it weighs 5,000 pounds. I've told them it weighs over 4 but under 5, and
Yeah.
but yes, it weighs 4,411 pounds. It was class built truck. That was our weight minimum that we could be at, just so we didn't kind of merge with the next class up in our diesel series, the Pro Mod class. They wanted to separate, the two classes, and the only way they could really figure out how to do it was put a minimum weight on the Pro Street, and then and Pro Mod you can weigh whatever you want. So that was why we have that 4,400 pound minimum on there.
That class had just came around about when that truck got put together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been out there for about 2 years,
So
going on 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
The weight stuff has kind of changed throughout the years, and then we were limited to what, Johnny, like a 499. We couldn't go faster than that, and then was it last year they lifted?
So we have a 25/6 chassis cert, which is like, they kind of put it in a quarter mile, but we race eighth mile, so that's 799 in a quarter mile. Which we can definitely, I think, if we were geared for it, we could definitely beat that. But it's just the weight, it feels kind of scary when you're banging 4,500 pounds at 180 or 90 mile an hour. So I think eighth mile is the way to go.
Yeah, I think what Levon have his
For
too,
sure.
and UCC
For
that
sure.
time. He was what, like 182 mile an hour or something, or high 170s in a full wheel drive truck, and we all said, "Man, you got way more trust in that thing than we ever would." Man, you hit a wall at 4,500 pounds going that fast. Holy moly! I don't know how you'd survive it.
Yep, I definitely like the eighth mile stuff. Easier on parts, I think safer a little bit, for sure. So
Yeah, that's
a good deal.
for a diesel.
And then,
we're
it's
trying to
definitely
keep them
safer.
cool.
oh yeah, heck yeah. And have you ever been to a diesel race, John, or kind of like heard of any of that stuff in your world?
No, I have not. I know, the closest I've been to like the diesel experience was a local tractor pool, Galat Motorsports Park. They have a big once a year, maybe twice a year, a pool, and the diesel tractors are just, it's unbelievable. I mean, watching them bellow the black smoke and just the power and the torque and the turbos zinging up there. It's awesome. I would probably fit in good with the diesel world. But that seems like it's a little out of my my scope of expertise.
Yep.
I have a diesel excursion. Actually, I own now is diesel. I have a Passat diesel, a Jetta diesel, a diesel excursion, and my RV is diesel. Man, I just need to make the skip over.
Just make the change. Just make the
make
change,
the
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come race with us.
You're almost there.
It's it'd be a good time.
You want to,
You're halfway
you won't
there.
start carrying gas around anymore.
That's right.
Yep, good deal.
Yeah.
Where's John? Where's the next race you're going to be
what's
competing
your
at?
perspective on it?
Go ahead. Our racing schedule. So the reason I put my car back together was because there was like $100,000 worth of racing in small tire within about a month and a half. And so the first race, I got a very, very small chunk of that. So hopefully in the next little while, I'll be able to get a little bit more. This weekend, actually, I think it's Clifton. He's got the race at Shady Side happening, no prep race this weekend. Down here in the South, North Carolina, South Carolina, I live in the Raleigh area, and within about 3 or 4 hours, you can get a no prep race this year about every weekend. It seems like, most of them are cash day
Very
style.
nice.
So it's $200, $300 buy-in. But the good thing is, like you said earlier, it's not as hard on parts. And the people that are shining are the people that are testing a lot. And, you don't have to worry about somebody coming out here with, a gazillion horsepower and running over somebody. I mean, because it's about, my car has been 450s in the eighth of a mile on a prep surface. And, when you're doing the no prep stuff, you're nowhere close to that. The cars just live generally long. And it's about power management and getting the car to work.
It's
But
no longer about who's got the biggest wallet.
That's right. That's exactly right. Now you start getting, some of these, there's a lot of smart racers out there, and so you start getting a little bit of money where they can do a little bit more testing, and that's where they get the advantage. And so, a lot of these races are off the trailer, so they have to test at a separate facility. So, it's all about your data that you got ahead of time, and I'm slowly building, my data. But yeah, man, we're racing Shady Side this weekend. We got another local track, Thunder Valley. They just announced they've got a 28-inch tire shootout. Now, this is not going to be no prep. It's going to be limited prep is what I like to call it. It'll be normal slick prep, so not radial prep. But they got like a $2,000 shootout with free entry. Next weekend is Union County. That's going to be no prep from back at the track. The Southeast Street Outlaws is putting that one on. Thunder, and then the weekend after that is Wilkesboro up near Boone. They got the 828 cash days. We got like 64 cars in that already. The weekend after that is the big one, Ham Dig or Die. And then we got a lot more. I mean, it's just crazy, man. We're going to be racing. I told the wife the other day, we're racing like every weekend for the next month. And luckily I've got a very supportive family. And my crew guys are freaking unbelievable. I got the best crew ever. They all come to the track, and you can't do it by yourself. I mean, you just simply can't.
No way.
And
It's
crazy. It's a ride. It's fun.
Heck yeah, it takes a crew, it takes a team, and a lot of people that just kind of show up to the race and think you just unload it and go rounds. It's a different story. It's prepping in between races, and in between rounds, there's a lot of work that gets done. That's no doubt.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
There's no doubt.
Absolutely. So,
and I got
John, kind of going back to the whole the debate of. Do what, John?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Luke.
So as far as back to the whole argument of all-wheel drive stuff and big tire, I know you're small tire, but what's your perspective? I mean, back before Charles ever had patches, Charles Corriere, Tesla Racing Channel, back before he ever had patches, he had the Tesla. Was he racing in small tire with that? Because I remember there was a couple races where him and Jarrett and the boys almost got into fights. The boys get so upset at him.
Yeah, Charles was one of the front runners in four-wheel drive racing locally. Street tires in a Tesla, and just kicking people. And it did not make. You can go back to some of his old videos, and there was a lot of people that were not happy about four-wheel drive. So he quickly got expelled from the street tire class, and I think he went to the small tire class to where he also got kicked out of. And so, I mean, people. I kind of see both aspects of four-wheel drive. When in small tire, let me phrase that a little bit. When you're small tire, we race, you got to have a 28-inch tall tire or smaller, but the tread is 10.5 non-W, so 10.5 wide. So you've got 21 inches of contact, and they don't even allow you to run a W tire, which is only 1 inch wider. And so when you have all four tires now pulling, now that 8-inch wide tire, you got more contact patch. It makes sense. But I'm with Ethan, honestly. They're calling it big tire class. That's probably not an appropriate name for it anymore, because you got the four-wheel drive trucks and cars that are coming out there. And I mean, it's a door car series. And now in that same fashion, I mean, maybe a good compromise is to put a limit on the size of the tires for the four-wheel drive cars, and then have a big tire so that it's more comparable. I don't know. Is that a good solution? I mean, what do y'all think about that from the four-wheel drive world? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, this is the smallest set of tires I've ever had on this truck, and it seemed like it loved it. I think a 28-10-5 on this thing. It's a 29.5-inch tall tire, 10-5 wide, and I have a W on the back and a regular up front. So we went from 30-inch 1450s on all four corners down to this size of tire, and that was the first race. They still had the nipples on them when we pulled it out of the trailer. So we switched to that because that's
Still
what
the
Johnny
stickers.
made a record pass on. So we were like, well, if Johnny can make a record pass on it, we'll make it work
Yep.
with him. So that's
Yeah,
what we got.
I was watching this YouTube channel one day. This guy put some 28 Hoosiers on and started playing around this Mustang, this Turbo John guy, and I was like, man, maybe I need to try some Hoosiers, So we kind of made the change from M&H and did some testing, and that thing it loves it. So
Wow. I mean, I don't know
That
that
changed my truck.
Clifton Thread comment on Facebook that he and 3 shares in. So I mean, it's a hot topic, 4-wheel drive.
yeah, heck yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the debate's going to
it's
go
definitely
on.
I mean, that's
Let's
people are arguing that we need to have our own class, but there's just not enough vehicles. That's what I mean. You need 16 minimum to really have a full class, and that's what people are saying. Well, they need to have their own class. Well, there was 2 at the last event. That's
Right.
one round. And
My
that
big
means
thing
the class
is-
is done. I mean, if you had a 16 or a 32 car field, then that's one thing. And sure, I mean, when it can actually be a full class, that's understandable. Make it a full class. Other than that, a Tesla, an all-wheel drive Honda, a GTR, everything else should just move to like a big tire or an open class. That's the only thing that really seems reasonable and like understandable in my eyes.
You only have 6 people in an all-wheel drive class, and your purse is only $2,000 or $3,000. I'm probably not going to drive 13 hours one way and replace broken injection lines on my tow rig at midnight because it's fuel everywhere. And you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason we did what we did and why we locked into these races
Yeah,
is
and now
because
all
they
of a
have a
sudden
big pot.
6 people in the class is not 6 anymore. Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I mean. You only get, like you said, 6 cars or 6 trucks or whatever in a class. Well, now you don't want to drive that 13 hours for a couple $1,000s and blow who knows how many tires out, have to pack bearings in the trailer in some truck stop. I mean, so now there's 5 people. Well, now instead of $2,000, it's $1,500.
well,
So I mean,
definitely
I'm not going to go
one thing I
deal
can
my
say.
truck for $1,500.
I think the big pots have really wound up the no prep world. I think it gets a huge amount of guys fired up to do things and drive, 10, 15 hours away to go to a race and figure out their combination to try to get that money. So it's a big draw, I think, to get more people in. That's for sure.
I tell you, I think one
Yeah,
thing
and
that
I
is a
definitely
big
agree. I mean, because it's hard to go to a no prep that doesn't pay big money. Like small tire and Turbo John's case, $20,000 to win. I'm gonna drive 10 hours to try to go win $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you
Heck
saying,
yeah.
John? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say, I think one of the things also that is a draw for a lot of the no prep stuff, the back of the track stuff, and I don't know how long it's going to stick around, but back in the day when we used to race, there was no IHRA, there was no NHRA. They were there, but that was for the pro teams. That was for the big dollar program. Your little local tracks, it was very minimal. Tech inspection, very minimal, people looking at your cars saying you got to spend, $100,000 on, safety equipment. That's good and bad. It's good because it allows people to race on a little bit tighter budget, but it's bad because, some of the stuff I'm seeing out here at these no prep races is, pretty dangerous. And, I mean, my car might be one of them. I mean, we've got 125 pounds hanging off the parachute mount in the back, trying to get it so that it'll transfer weight. But, it's one of those things. I mean, it's appealing. I guess danger is always appealing, right? Is that what it is? I mean, essentially.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
a good part of it,
like we talked about, like what 3 cars hit the wall, and who knows how many others crashed but never hit anything? I mean, that's kind of like the cool factor. Like, yeah, you got to go out there, you got to drive that thing. That's if you come around somebody smoking the tires, got the wheel turned, yeah, you're gonna be the cool kid on the block for a little bit. And that's why I didn't see any cage inspections. I didn't see make sure everybody had a 15-layer suit if they were on meth. It's kind of like just that, like, I guess, outlaw, if you want to call it that. That's, I mean, going back to the thing, if it doesn't matter who's got the biggest budget, it's you and your grandpa can go get y'all's pension put together and go make a car run 650s and be competitive and maybe win 20 grand. That's
Heck yeah.
I think that's really kind of the cool factor behind it all, and that's what's got so many people coming to it from the radial stuff.
Heck yeah. We'll definitely think the debate's going to go on. I don't know. It's this weekend, I think, opened up a lot of people's eyes into what's going on in the diesel world. I think, a few years back, I don't think that
racing
diesels
that
would have been.
surface. That's what I say.
Yeah.
It's going to go on.
Yeah, this weekend. This weekend opened a lot of people's eyes, their hearts, their emotions. They are in.
I don't think the diesel would have been
There have been
competitive.
There have been a lot of journal and diary entries, starting with this weekend. This diesel did.
Heck yeah. Well, I can't wait to see everybody out at the next.
It's gonna always
the next couple races.
Be there.
Heck yeah. I just think that the debate's going to go on. I think it's going to be a great season. I'm glad that the first race is already fired up and got people
talking about it. That picture there is the.
Yeah, that's the first
for
race,
sure.
The first pass.
Perfect way to start off the season.
Heck yeah. It's a great first race, and getting people to Thaw is a perfect name for this first race. Heck yeah.
The Fire Punk. Fire Punk got into the threes at the duck race. That's impressive.
There's a lot of.
I know what that takes to do.
On top of this,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah. So on top of this news for the weekend, four-wheel drive winning big tire. We had history made in the diesel world at the Ducks race with a Pro Mod diesel, first diesel anything in the threes. So $399 with a tractor motor. So that was something else. Just fantastic. Just happy I could be there to be on the premises with that happening. So it's a great feeling for us. We're a bunch of farm boy diesel dummies, and we love our racing just like all the hot rod car guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
That's why I think a lot of people's eyes was definitely just in general in the Southeast after records set and events won.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, definitely appreciate everybody coming on here, and Turbo John taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here, and everybody, when you get a minute, definitely check out Turbo John on YouTube. You'll definitely enjoy it. It's got some good content on there, and he shows what it takes to make a small block single turbo Fox body go fast. So there's some learning curve, some good data on there, and check out my buddy there, Mr. Ethan there at Wilson Patterson Diesel. He's helped us out a lot through the years here with the stainless diesel approach street truck, and Luke, definitely happy to have you aboard as well. Knowing you had Ethan's back at the race, man, turning wrenches and ready to take a bath in transmission fluid, man, like any minute. You were on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Turn that nitrous bottle to the line.
But I knew I knew. Yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure I had to go to a chiropractor over that today. As we were racing the LS truck, he hits a purge and it dies, like the bottle's empty. And I had to fling open the door, said, hold on, hit it again. Nothing happened. So I'm back there cranking on the bottle with everything I've got. Pulled a muscle and a half. But I mean, we finally got it back open, got the air out. I think we ended up getting him by a fender. I think Colby, he may admit to this. I may be wrong, but we have a feeling that he hit the scramble button trying to come around us and that thing lean popped. We don't know if it happened or not, but So
I
that
called
was
Johnny
probably the
right
best race
after
we've
that
had in a
happened.
long
I
time.
said, "Man, why would my truck be rail popping? It's never done that before." Well, it was Colby's truck bullhorn right at my door. It was lean popping like crazy, and it was flashing in my window.
Yeah.
And I thought my truck was backfiring. And Colby said, "No, it was my truck." I don't know what happened, but it started popping and cracking there at the finish line. And I was like trying to figure out, is it my truck? Is it his truck? And we made another hit, and it still went, so it never popped. So I'm saying it was probably his truck echoing through my cab.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was in my rig.
Yeah, that's what
Nice.
I had Ethan fire it back up, and that's why I said, "Is it making a weird noise?" He said, "Nah." We checked EGTs, didn't have a dead cylinder. Well, at least 2 through 6 weren't dead. We still don't know about number 1, but it didn't. I mean, it wasn't hot. I mean, it ran fine. Didn't have a skip, a miss, a tick, a knock. We didn't have a Jehovah's Witness in the block, so I mean, we just kind of said, "Okay, we'll go to the next one." So,
That's right.
Yep.
Get her going. That's awesome. Yeah, can't wait to see how the rest of the season shakes out for everybody. It's going to be a good time. We should get back together here after another race or two, and check up on everybody and see how we're doing.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah,
For sure.
Definitely appreciate everybody coming on, and I can't wait to see the next race.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Definitely appreciate it, guys, and just stay in touch, and everybody check out the Turbo John YouTube channel. We're probably going to post this up on our Stainless Diesel YouTube channel, and everybody share and check it out, and leave us some feedback in the comments. I think everybody's still wanting to know about the debate here: big tire, 4-wheel drive, diesel, diesel in that class. So it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we for sure. We think the label, I think, should be changed on their class. I think that's the ticket. Colby brought that up today. I didn't even think about that, but I think what it should be is a run what you brung or open outlaw class, anything with a door on it. And whether it be a radial versus a world car or whatever, we're all fighting the same surface. We're racing the surface. We're not racing the money. We're racing the surface. And that's just what it is. Physics you can't change physics. Ground contact of a tire, whether it's split between 4 tires or 2, it still has the same amount of traction. You just have to figure out how to make that traction come to that tire. And I think that's where, a lot of us are lacking.
Yeah, and that's what
actually be a wild ride.
That Turbo John was local to me, but I'm actually down in Charlotte, so that's why me and him are probably going to be seeing each other quite a bit this year, and that's why I know a few other local guys are going to be bringing their 4-wheel drive trucks out. So this is just really, I feel like, the beginning of this debate, and I feel that by fall something will be put together, and I'm sure there'll still be this organization, that organization having different rules, but I think everyone kind of have a guideline this year. I feel like they have to. They've got so much pressure on them.
Heck yeah. Yep, definitely going to be wild. Good deal. But yeah, definitely can't wait to see the next couple races here. I think it's going to be interesting, and I think the debate's going to go on. But we'll see what everybody says, in the comments here, and then debate at the next race. We'll see if they want to let the big tires run with the diesels or not. So we're going to find out.
We got one more.
Definitely appreciate all you guys coming on.
I think Lauren's got some pictures of the track
that we didn't get loaded here.
See if you can show them the cracks.
Right there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lauren,
it's
size 14 just for reference.
And children.
That crack is actually.
I'd call that a no prep for sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely.
that was
It's
an unprep, no prep. They weren't prepared to even have an event.
Yeah, it definitely was a huge. I mean, those cracks were everywhere. On the left lane had a divot about the size of my body, and it was I didn't know how the heck anybody was gonna do it. Actually, when people were at the line, they were like, "Well, we got to start in this area of the track, but maybe we go to the outside and run the outside of the track because it's way smoother looking." So they were talking about leaving the line and going right or going left and running the barrier because it looks so terrible. And BJ flagging,
John, I think you had some clips of
ever.
the actual surface in your YouTube, didn't you?
What'd you say?
John, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
John, I think you're muted, buddy. He muted himself. But yeah, BJ down there, man, flagging that was kind of one of my worries was how are we going to stage this thing? How not having a tree and whatnot. BJ flagging was probably easier than even staging from a tree. So that guy's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen BJ flag a bunch of races. Just watching, seems like that guy never runs out of energy, man. He's always wound up, even if it's like he's up there flagging for 10, 12 hours a day at a race, and he's just always full of energy. So
yeah,
getting it on.
His name's Brian Joseph.
That's what I think I saw where. That's what I think I saw where he flagged Darlington for 12 hours, went and flagged the after party. I think maybe went and flagged a third event, then drove all the way back to New Orleans. So that dude's definitely an animal.
Say something, John.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah, it's definitely in his blood,
Yeah. John, do we have you
that
now?
guy loves it.
Yeah, no, that dude's got an actual that dude has got an actual love for the sport to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I left the track at 10:30, had to drive an hour and a half home, and I made it an hour, and I had to pull over and take a nap.
That's wild.
So I couldn't do what he did.
Yeah.
Our 13-hour drive home was definitely miserable. Even with the $8,000 in my pocket, it was still miserable.
That's wild. Definitely good stuff.
All right, John, do we have you back now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I was saying, didn't you have some pictures and videos of the surface on your YouTube?
Yeah, we got down there on Friday night, and we walked out there on the track, and we got some pretty good. It's crazy how rough it is. So there's some good video. Yeah, it is rough, course, and both of those tracks, Rockingham and Darlington, both whenever they were built, what it looks like to me happened is the mixture that they use, the asphalt and the aggregate, over the years, 50 years or so, however long it's been, the asphalt has just wore down and it's just left the aggregate, the rock up high. So whatever size tire you're on is basically it's half the width. You've got half that contact patch. So if you got 10-inch wide tire, you're racing on a 5 or 6-inch contact patch essentially, because the rubber, and it's so deceiving because it's like a cheese grater. The track is peeling off of the tires and it's falling in between the aggregate. So it looks like you've got an actual groove there that is fairly decent until you get up there on it. I mean, it's insane. It's crazy. It is insane.
Yeah.
It's
That's
definitely
what me and Ethan actually walked it going into the finals. And so I was like, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of rubber, but you can see where everybody's been launching, and there's like a 10-inch wide strip from the tire, and they've just been hitting the tire so hard they've just stripped the rubber off. So I mean, it looks like there's rubber, but you look at it like if you're standing on the real starting line looking back, all you see is that white rock. It's just because there's nothing on it.
All right. All the rubber's in between the rock.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Yep. It was like a cheese grater, man.
Yeah,
My brand
exactly.
new
And it's just,
tires probably. I need to talk to Hoosiers and see if they'll sponsor me another set, because those things are definitely probably wore out after one race.
That's a good way to scrub them in, man.
How many races you get on a set of tires, John?
So I've been trying to get about 15 passes, and they're usually about half tread, and I'll take them off and sell them for half cost and get the new set.
Nice.
There you go.
Yep.
It's definitely
Usually try to
rough on
keep it-
tires.
is that just
I'd tell
because you feel like the compound's breaking down and it doesn't bite as much? You're beating the sidewall out of it, or
It is.
I mean, are you actually seeing negative effects on that, or is that just for getting ahead of preventing that?
Kind of both for, just being able to, because the first half of the tire, when we're racing on a stickier track, the sidewalls get beat down. And so the sidewall becomes the problem. On the no prep, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
now, and I mean, I don't race on this cheese grater stuff a ton, but from what I have seen is that it just seems like you make the passes when they're new and it doesn't ball the tread up quite as much. The older the tires get, the more you have to flop them side to side, and they get cheese grated up more quickly. And I mean, for a slower car, I mean, that's fine. You sell them to them, and you basically you can account for what $15 a pass the entire do it that way versus running them to the very.
Heck yeah.
Right.
I think we usually do about 30 passes on ours
Gotcha.
with the 4-wheel drive being a little bit heavy.
Right.
Basically trying to keep I think what we find is we break the sidewalls down after about that many passes, and we start 60 foot starts going away, even though we have plenty of tread, left on the tires. So definitely helps to switch them out.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Good deal.
John, do you think we'll be allowed back?
Ooh, what'd you say?
So do you think we'll be allowed back? Diesels. All-wheel drive.
All right. So yeah, definitely appreciate having you guys on. We'll wrap it up, and thanks for being with us here this evening, telling us the story of how the diesel whooped on the big tire guys. And
She was
thanks for
wondering if
getting your
we'd be
perspective
allowed
here.
back, is what she was saying.
Oh, okay.
She lost her voice from yelling so much.
Sorry,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
I can't.
No, I got you.
That's why I wasn't trying to.
Lost your voice. I got you.
That's
Heck yeah,
I mean, you
good
all
deal.
saw my
Good
live
deal.
feed. I got a little excited, just a tiny bit.
She definitely celebrated. We all did.
That's a good thing.
I said,
That's
man,
a
it's
good
a good thing they don't have no GoPro in
Yeah,
my cab, because
yeah,
I'd
that's
look
it.
like a knucklehead for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I always do a celebration dance when I'm passing the finish line and I'm in front. That's for sure. It feels good.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal.
For sure.
Well, maybe you'll do
So
that at the next
hopefully-
race. We're going to follow you, and
I hope so.
Lauren's going to be putting out the live feeds, and we're going to see how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
No more F-bombs, though, I swear.
Yeah. We're gonna
Got to
No
keep
more.
it professional.
give it our all. Yeah. We're
That's
definitely
awesome.
gonna give it
That's
our all.
awesome.
That's no doubt.
Good
So,
deal. Good deal.
it was
All
good,
right. Well, everybody.
Talking with everybody, and thanks Turbo John for joining us, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We all watch you on YouTube. I told you that at the track, man.
Yeah.
We,
I
my
appreciated
wife's like,
your
"You
insight
watch
on
him racing
everything.
again?"
Yeah.
Our
Yep,
little
yep.
guy watches it
Yes.
all the
I'll
time.
be here. I'll come back anytime.
Well, good deal. Definitely
Awesome,
appreciate
man.
it. And we'll see y'all at the racetrack soon.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, man.
See y'all soon.
We'll see y'all.
All right. We'll catch y'all later.
Bye.
Yep.